such a bitch today. Can't believe it's been around 4 years since I met Casey, and only like 2 weeks ago I found out that she's straight. Sure is, it's insane. I'm back. I feel like life is just telling me not to fucking stream. Thank you for the water bags.
Hiya, boss. How can I be of service?
Could someone share the stream for me? Like on Twitter, if possible. Nicole.
Boss, please! I know you're a busy fella. No need to tell me twice. But if you're ever in need of any favors, you know who you can come to. See, despite how I may look, I've actually built up quite the network around here.
Zach, here's another perfect symbol of the human condition. Hunting trophies. And it's a buffalo hunting trophy. Now that's a surprise. I've seen several trophies made out of human skin, but never a buffalo's. Looking at him brings out this strange feeling from within me. Yes, the very same feeling I got when watching a certain film from 1984, directed by Peter Hyams.
References from movies I've never seen.
2010. The last scene in that film filled me with such a sublime, majestic feeling. It was filled with everything that was missing from the finale of 2001: A Space Odyssey. Just talking about it makes me want to watch it again. Let's watch it once we get home. Promise, Zach.
You're getting a big list of movies. Already at 2 and we just started.
We always strive to provide our guest with the finest of service, sir. Our humble, bucolic town does have its inconveniences. Shopping, in particular, can be a bit of a slog. Therefore, we decided to provide a modest selection of daily necessities right here at our very own front desk.
Great.
And he's talking
Sounds
about
convenient.
movies.
Exactly.
Nicole, could you tweet the stream out if possible? Thank you. Oh, bye. Rubber bullets, I have plenty of them. Coffee. Buy that, I'm gonna buy it. You can sell. Not.
Please don't hesitate to let me know if you're in need of anything, sir.
We can buy lollipops. I have lollipops there.
Would you mind if I asked you just one question, concierge?
By all means, please ask me whatever you like, sir.
Do you run this entire hotel all on your own? I mean, just the three of you?
Yes, that is correct, sir.
So you, or the three of you, own the entire place?
Oh, heavens no, sir. The chef, the bellboy, and myself are all mere employees of this fine hotel.
So the Clarksons own this place, too?
Not quite, sir. This hotel opened its doors long before the Clarksons came to prominence.
Impressive. No wonder this building has such a dignified air to it.
Indeed. This is probably the only building in all of Lucare that has managed to retain its original appearance.
So, who's the owner? I simply must know the name of the person who had the fortune and sense to come into possession of such a fine building.
The owner of this hotel is none other than David Jawara, sir.
Zack, that's the fourth David. It all makes sense now. It'd be stranger if only the owner was a completely different person. I sincerely hope I get a chance to meet him during my stay here.
If I may, Mr. Morgan, sir, I don't think that's such a good idea.
Why
Yeah,
not?
he owns it as well. He might as fucking well. He's the only one who works there.
Unfortunately, our owner has a bit of a personality problem.
I didn't notice.
The three of us here describe him as having a fractured mind.
This is insane. I love it. Also, that was an abrupt end. What the fuck? I want to meet the little girl. The loading. It's amazing. What if, like, some guy named Bob owned it? You mean like Bob in Twin Peaks? Because if you do, that's fucked up. Oh god. Oh god.
Compared to non-smokers,
Hey.
smokers have a 4.7 times greater chance of getting lung disease.
Good girl.
You
Oh,
know
okay,
that means
Ricky.
it's more likely than getting asbestos poisoning?
The risk of death from lung cancer is actually much lower than what you think it is.
Bullshit.
In fact, it's tiny when compared to heart disease, strokes, and pneumonia. We're always surrounded by easy ways to die, you know. Some people even
shut
get
the
randomly struck by lightning and die right there on the spot.
Then I reckon you also know that secondhand smokers have 1.3 times greater the risk compared to smokers?
Of course.
So you won't mind paying the damages when I die of lung disease? How about writing that in a contract for me? You got a pen, right?
Wow.
I promise to protect you from all the evil in our world. Well, that's stupid. By the way, what's your name?
FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan. Please, just call me York. That's what everyone calls me.
Hey. Who's
Is
that?
something wrong with you? Adults ain't supposed to act like that. I only asked for your name so I can write it on the contract. You should have been able to figure that out if you're a real FBI agent like you said. Come on, sign here. Right here on the paper.
Just as I thought, Zack. This contract paper, it's a Sang Rouge wrapper. Sang Rouge is here, too. This must mean that Sang Rouge is connected to the Lees Clarkson murder case somehow. This is a sprawling case that spread across the entire South. It's within our jurisdiction, Zack. we'll need to steal the right to investigate from the local authorities at once. By the way, miss, what's your name?
Patricia Woods. But I gotta write my name myself, or else it won't be a real signature.
Tell me, Patricia, does this town have a sheriff? Or is it under the jurisdiction of the nearest city police?
Perfect timing. Well, go on and steal it if you want it. I was just thinking about how this is way out of my daddy's league.
Thank you for the information, Patricia. Okay, Zach, it's time to get to work. How should we seize control from the sheriff this time?
The sheriff's her dad. The dad says, what the fuck am I on? I'm sick, don't judge. Redford. Okay, not inventory data. Frames.
Hey there. So, you're the fella from the FBI I've been hearing so much about. I'm Melvin. They call me the sheriff round here.
Melvin, like in Resident Evil 2.
FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan? But call me York if you can.
No.
That's what everyone calls me.
Huh? Well, all right.
Why that sheriff?
Mr. York. How's that sound?
Fine by me.
I'm
'Cause it's
sure
a
you
deadly
figured this
premonition.
out, but our town's a small one. Yeah, folks are already busy spreading gossip about how some FBI agents come to town. Now, I reckon you came from the city. What was it? D.C., L.A., or New York? Anywho, in the city, it's normal not to know who your neighbor is. Fella who moves in next to you could cook up a dozen folks in his backyard and no one would bat an eye. That's the city for you. Now, I never lived in one myself, but I visited them a few times, so I know what it's like. All pigs must die in the city of wolves. Yeah! Now, does that sound badass or what? I bet you'd... Hey! I know, CLG. I'm just trying to make a little small talk, that's all. Anywho, round these parts, everyone knows each other's name. So lots of folks get leery when they see an étranger like you. And since it's my duty to protect the town, I thought I'd stop by and say hello.
Zach, it looks like this sheriff is quite the happy-go-lucky type. A clear indication of just how peaceful this town is. Melvin, about the Lise Clarkson case.
I knew you were here for that case. Can't put one past the FBI. So they even got eyes on the smallest of towns like us, huh? Our world is filled with information, and it's all within their grasp. FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
The Lise Clarkson case is connected to a top-secret case that we've...
I know. If you're fixing to take the lead, then go right ahead. I'm just the humble sheriff of a tiny little town. My jobs are to stop my neighbors from beating the piss out of each other and listen to old folks complain. Honestly, this whole murder case has been weighing me down. So I'm gonna give you my full cooperation, Mr. Special Agent, sir.
Well, Zach, that was anticlimactic. I didn't even get to use my secret weapon.
Your what?
Melvin, there's a cold storage warehouse on the southern end of town, isn't there? I'd like to get permission to enter it.
Say what?
You want to see where the body's being kept, right?
Oh, I get it now. Lisa's body, yeah. Now, that's what I call a special agent. You already figured that much out. But, I'm not too sure that, going down there at this point is really gonna help much. You know?
There's so much talking.
Explain it yourself, Daddy.
That's incredible. I don't believe this. Amazing. Did you hear that, Zach? They put the body in a cold storage warehouse. This is fantastic. Insanely fantastic.
Really? Well, how about that? Well, all right then. I'll head on down to the warehouse ahead of you and make sure we get permission to search it.
Sounds good.
The management company only keeps the warehouse open during certain hours, so you'll have to come during those hours. I ain't looking to create any further disturbances. So be on time. Got it?
No.
Come on, let's roll, CLG.
I'm gonna walk home, Daddy. I still got another stop to make.
Oh, if you say so, sweetie.
Why do you call her CLG?
She's a real sharp one, as you can see, so I try to stay out of her way. Well, all right then, York. I'll see you at the warehouse.
Why he seems scared of her? So let me quickly update the title because this is like the least part 2. Because longest intro. Part 2. Okay. What? What?
Hey, you! You ain't secretly cutting kids up and sticking them into jars while you work as an FBI agent on the surface, are you?
She fucking got us. She got me.
Or using your FBI connections to sell kids to child trafficking organizations?
I've arrested people who've done both, but I've never engaged in either of those activities myself.
Activities.
Of course, I have imagined doing such things in order to learn more about the psychology of the criminals I deal with.
It was just a joke. Why are you getting all serious? And don't tell me what you imagine, or else I'll get scared of you for real. Hey, can I come with you?
Really?
You signed a contract with me, remember?
After what you
And besides, I'm kind of worried about my daddy.
Do whatever you like. This is America, land of the free. But I have one condition.
What condition?
Don't ask me about Zach. It's a private matter. Zach, it feels like she's carrying something with her.
Wait, so he's just gonna let this kid come on this fucking murder case? That's responsible.
Kind of reminds me of you back when we first met. I can't leave her alone like this. You feel the same way, don't you?
Yeah. Main quest side. Wait, main and side quests look exactly the same. Main quest, side quest, waypoint, landmarks. And it tells you how far away they are.
By the way, Patty, what do you usually do when you're at home?
Is this an interrogation?
Oh no. I just figured that since we're...
Wait, so that means that she disappears.
Okay, Patty. I'm going to try asking you that question again. What do you do when you're at home?
I watch TV and look up stuff on the internet, I guess. Ain't much else to do when you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Really? For some reason, I envisioned you working hard to take care of all the chores around them. So you clearly love TV shows, but what about movies?
Movies? We don't even have a movie theater around here, so I can only watch what I manage to catch on TV.
Like what?
For some reason, the only movie channel we get at home is the sci-fi one. So I just watch a lot of sci-fi.
Like what? What's the last one you saw?
The one with Schwarzenegger, where there's all these clones.
The Sixth Day, 2000, directed by Roger Spottiswoode. You must be very well versed in sci-fi if you can appreciate an Arnold S. film.
I thought it was way too easy for them to make more clones. And you'd never see a clumsy investigation like that on CSI.
That's right. It's realistic. Everything about that film is so realistic. It may be difficult for a child to understand. But, Patty, that's not your fault. All of Arnold... Melvin called you a strange name. CLG, I think. What exactly does that mean?
Why did that just
Clever
not-
little girl. That's what it stands for, at least. It's nice that he made up his own nickname for me and all, but it sounds kind of weird. I wish he'd call me something normal, like just Patricia or Patty, you know?
Patty? Now that name's got a ring to it. I like it. How about Zach and I call you Patty from here on out?
Do whatever you like. Weirdo. You're heading to the warehouse, right? You gonna go straight there?
Well, I'm not sure yet. I'll have to talk to Zach. We're also on a mission to fell 10 maidens, you see. I'm eager to visit Alexis's diner in Lane, but we've only just arrived in this town, so it might be nice to stroll around a bit.
What?
Dialogue skip woman. Past the point on the map where Joe does. It's weird. And I walked so
Patty,
that they could continue
is
the
something
conversation.
wrong?
I got something to say. When I first met you in the hotel parking lot, you mentioned Saint Rouge, right? If you want to find it, maybe you should track down Professor R.
Professor R.
Yeah, Professor R owns the jazz bar on the other side of the bayou.
How do you know that?
Because
Because, huh? Interesting.
I'm curious about this. Even if pretty much everything in it does drag. Owl's Nest. With that being said, I'll see how the first video does, and if you guys seem to want to see more, I'll continue it. If not, then I'll do it on my own time, I guess. Not that I have a lot of free time. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Wait, there's something else. Sunbed. Wait, is this the part of gameplay that they showed before? When you meet that lady who loved bowling? Where's the sound?
10 maidens, Zach. Let's topple their hourglass figures and complete this oracle once and for all.
Oh, my Lord. I don't believe I've seen you around here before. Sorry, honey, but you can't smoke in here.
Wait, Jawara. She has the
Since
same
you're
last
with
name as
Patricia,
the
I'm
guy.
guessing you're some friend of Melvin's.
he's Agent York from the FBI. This is Alexis, the owner of this restaurant. I'm helping out Agent York in his investigation. We signed a contract.
Oh, my Lord. Well, ain't that something?
I'm FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan. Please, call me York. Everyone's always called me that.
Oh, my Lord. Well, that's got to be the strangest introduction I've ever heard. No wonder everyone in town's been talking about you.
Pat,
I want a chocolate sundae, but no cherries. I want 2 wafers instead. Don't put too many Rice Krispies on it. Oh, but don't scrimp on the chocolate syrup either.
Oh, my Lord. And what'll it be for you, honey?
Alexis, are these photos of the town?
Oh, you like my pictures? My hobby's collecting snapshots of what our town used to be like. So whenever someone gives me an old picture, I just put it up here on display. Our world these days feels a bit cold to me, you know? Just thought it'd be nice to help folks remember what it was like in the good old days.
Zach, did you hear that? The good old days. Even in a remote town that's already far behind the times, there are still people who yearn for the past.
She told me what was going on, you know.
What?
Lise, you don't need to try and hide it from me, honey. Last time she came here, she told me all about it. Some odd fella was following her around, stalking her like.
What kind of fellow?
She said he had a really tall shadow,
How tall?
as tall as an oak tree.
Did that ring any bells for you?
Sadly, it didn't. I know just about everyone in this here town, but I ain't never seen a man who stands that tall. Maybe it really was an oak tree and she just mistook it for someone. Sometimes the silhouettes of them trees with lots of Spanish moss hanging down make me feel a little funny too.
I don't think so, Alexis. Lise said the shadow was following her, correct? That means she must have been stalked by a man as tall as an oak tree. If she had only mistaken an oak tree for a person, she wouldn't have described it that way. She might have said,
It felt like a crowd of people was staring at me.
Yes, exactly. She certainly wouldn't have talked about being followed by someone. Thank you, Patty. Zach, this data is all very intriguing, but it isn't the answer we're looking for. We came to knock down the 10 maidens, remember?
Oh, yeah!
I just muted myself
Oh, yeah!
because I'm hungry as shit.
I got a turkey!
Truly
Sound
mesmerizing,
of
Zach.
eating is obnoxious, so.
This is why I never tire of small-town investigations. Same goes for you, right?
Agent York, if you're fixing to bowl, you're gonna be disappointed. Mrs. Carpenter never lets anyone else use the lane while she's here.
Patty, that's exactly what I came to do. You see, Zach and I need to bowl down 10 maidens.
Fine, go on and try if you wanna, but I'm gonna eat my sundae.
That looks good.
Hey! Are you nuts?
What's the most addictive drug in the world?
How should I know?
It's sugar, Patty. Far more people die from obesity and diabetes than from cocaine and heroin. Alexis, would you give her some milk?
Oh, my Lord. Coming right up, honey.
Sugar might be dangerous, but it ain't against the law. You got no right to take that from me, even if you are some FBI agent.
Actually, Patty, I do. We signed a contract, remember? I promised to protect you from all the evil in our world.
Hey!
Delicious. What an amazing chocolate sundae. Zach, I think we just uncovered an incredible treasure here. I feel like I could eat one of these every day while we're in this town.
Oh, what?
What a bastard.
What'll it be, honey?
Is this place a bowling alley or a restaurant?
Oh, my Lord. What's wrong, honey? Can't tell the difference? It says restaurant right there on the outside.
And how do you explain that, then?
That's so the customers can bowl while they eat. Convenient, ain't it? If you want a bowl, honey, you'll have to ask Mrs. Carpenter to open up the lane for you.
That's fine, Isaac. Welcome back.
But if you just want to eat, then all you need to do is call my name. Got it? Oh.
Oh. Sliced up duck fried with veggies. Does that cover them? Do we want to order? Red beans and rice. Maybe that. He approved.
So, what do you think of my Cajun food, honey?
No complaints here. No wonder you call this restaurant the best Louisiana's got to offer.
Oh, my Lord. Ain't that nice of you? I'm sure glad to hear you like Cajun flavor.
I remember in the first one they had like a lollipop on there for like $100 or $49, and I was like,
It's nothing like that Creole food. And I'll be damned if it isn't the best eating you'll find this side of the Mississippi.
Hold on just one moment, Alexis. I always thought that both Creole and Cajun food were staples of the South. Am I misunderstanding something?
Not at all, honey. Cajun and Creole food are both staples of the South. They both have roots in French cooking, of course. But Creole cooking just ain't my cup of tea. Sauces of France combined with cooking methods brought in from Africa, mixed in with Spanish influences and Italian-style tomato sauce. Huh, when you smush all that together, you can't even tell what it is no more. Cajun food is pure and solid. The Acadians who settled in Canada brought it here from France in the 1600s.
all this talking about food isn't helping my hunger.
Then the British chased them off their land and they ran all the way down here.
Listen to you, Ocean.
They walked straight across America, north to south. Finally, they found a safe haven right here in southwest Louisiana. Whew, we got everything you'd ever want here. Fresh fish, wildlife, even veggies and fruit. They used their knowledge of French cooking and added some spice and herbs. Whew, and then they threw in fresh local ingredients to create what we know as Cajun cuisine.
Interesting. Now I understand what you mean about the Cajun and Creole food being completely different. But I still insist that both are shining examples of delicious local food.
This is not like a typical game that I play on the channel, is it? Like this and Deadly Prem 1, of course, right? They're like, what's it called? Exceptions. Yeah, every dialogue.
Roots in history aren't that important, are they?
Oh my Lord, you don't get it, do you, honey? Lately, there are shops all over the place calling themselves Cajun, Creole, or whatnot. But all they serve is a hot mess of different ingredients loaded with spices. And the tourists ain't none the wiser. I just hate feeling like folks are getting the wrong impression about Cajun food.
I get it now.
Stop talking about food.
According to your interpretation, Creole food is contributing to that wrong impression.
You bet it is. That's why I always make sure to teach all my customers what's what.
Think fuck, I'm never. Is this gonna be like the log lady?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Oh, howdy, stranger. My, you're a handsome one. You came out here from the city, didn't you? I can always spot you city folk from a mile away.
Carpenter.
I'm FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan. Would you mind calling me York, ma'am?
Oh, so you are from the FBI. I thought as much. So sophisticated. Well, my horoscope in the paper today told me I'd be meeting someone new.
As bad
And
as
those
it sounds, I look
horoscopes
forward to
never
when it goes
miss.
downhill.
They are the
'Cause right now
real
it's a little
deal.
bit
Well, one even predicted when I'd bowl my first perfect game. Oh, no! Oh, could you stand a bit closer to me? Whew, that was a close one. If you move any further that way, you'll cast a shadow over the lane. Well, the sheriff did that once, and something horrible happened. The next time I bowled, I got a gutter ball. First time in 12 years. I was mortified. And I am going to make sure nothing like that ever happens again. In our world, some routines lead to good things, while others only lead to the bad. So, you mustn't ever cast a shadow over the lane. Is that understood?
No.
It's her routine, Zach. Understand? Just like us and coffee. Incidentally, ma'am, would you mind letting me use this lane too? I'm investigating the Lise Clarkson murder case. And I need to topple 10 maidens, no matter what it takes.
No, absolutely not. Not even the FBI can take my lane from me. I haven't given it up once ever since my husband passed away over a decade ago. I'll never break my promise to him.
But
Now, if you'll excuse me.
I'm sorry in advance for the noise. Hopefully that's better.
Ooh, you like that? That's what I'm talking about.
That's
Who's
what
your
I'm talking
mama?
about.
Zach, it looks like negotiations have failed.
Did Ruby just growl in
Now
her
I'm afraid
sleep?
we have no choice but to force her to let us use her bowling lane.
Nicole,
Yes, I know.
did Ruby
I won't
just
do
growl
anything
in her
illegal.
sleep? Funny double premonition takes place in Louisiana. Never knew that. Earlier today I was watching Mafia 3 story cutscenes on YouTube and it takes place there. While we're on that subject, I need to do Mafia 2 somewhere. But yeah, how is that volume? Audio. The mic is like right in front of my fucking face. That's on the camera. Ah, that's insane. It's too close. Yeah, how was that?
Excuse me, Mrs. Carpenter.
Hello, Ruby baby princess. Hello.
Stop!
Hello,
Not
baby
now.
puppy.
Can't you see I'm already in my bowling stance? What, are you blind?
Okay. Oh, Ruby, your ears. They whipped me in the face. Yeah. They did. Oh. Ruby, you're not a puppy. You're not a puppy. happy anymore. You think you are, but you're heavy. You're heavy. You're heavy. Oh. She mows my nose. She like does it with her lips. She's so gentle. She's gorgeous. I know there's gonna be at least one person watching this who says, "Oh my god, that dog is vicious." Meanwhile, she's a big fucking baby. The real reason you're here. Yeah, Ruby's a baby. She's my princess.
Holy mother of bowling balls, let me pick up this split. Holy mother of bowling balls, let me pick up this split. Holy mother of bowling balls, let me...
Move the totems that she likes.
Stance, oh, always works on a split. Oh, yeah, never fails.
Zach, our new friend, appears to be a very superstitious lady. We should try and utilize this trait of hers in order to gain access to the lane for a bit. That was an amazing shot, Mrs. Carpenter. In fact,
Oh, I accidentally steal.
speaking of which, where did you happen to find all those neat little items? The ones you used to help you bowl that split just now.
Ooh, you got a keen eye there, Mr. Special Agent. Taking a liking to my collection, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. A great liking.
I buy all my charms and power stones from Erzuli Frida.
Erzuli Frida.
Yes, it's a mystical establishment run by the Mirror.
The mirror.
If you're interested, I can mark it on your map for you.
Yeah.
Zach, this is it. Erzuli Frida. There must be a treasure trove of dubious trinkets on sale there. We may even be able to find something capable of changing her mind. It really feels like we're in the deep south now, doesn't it?
Casey, have you heard of Daymare 1998? The video game. I'm pretty sure that I've watched a game movie or something. No, I think that I watched Craven play it. I think he played it. It's either Craven or Gal. I used to watch more YouTubers before I started. But yeah. But that was back in the day. That must have been years ago. Or am I thinking of Cry of Fear? I don't remember. But yeah, it's certainly familiar. Patricia. But yeah, I hope that this gets started soon, like properly started. Hello, Ruby baby. Baby puppy. Hello. Oh, look at that tail. Come on. How's the heat been about there? Yeah, it's been shit.
I thought you came here to bowl.
Yes, I did.
Then why are you leaving? You gave up on trying to convince Mrs. Carpenter to let you play?
No, Patty, neither Zach nor I have given up on anything. We're just going to stop by Erzuli Frida.
Erzuli Frida? What do you want with that place?
What do you know about it, Patty?
It's a dumb store that sells stupid voodoo charms and even stupider souvenirs. No one who actually lives here would ever be caught dead there. Daddy even told me to steer clear of it.
And why is that?
Give me one sec. This bloom reminds me of the movie It.
Okay, Patty. I'm going to try asking you that question again. What do you do when you're at home?
I watch TV
Oh my
and look
lord.
up stuff on the internet, I
fucking
guess.
dialogue
Ain't
in
much
this
else
is
to
worse
do
than
when
the
you're out in the
first.
middle of nowhere.
Really? For some reason, I envisioned you working hard to take care of all the
Yeah, so you can't do anything. Otherwise, the dialogue will come. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Yuck.
Hey, Zach, it looks like we were right on the money. Tracing the San Rouge distribution route led us right to Louisiana. You know what that means. We've got a hot hand, and Lady Luck's given us far more favor than she ever has before. We just happened to hear news about Lisa's murder while sitting in a bar during our vacation in New Orleans. That certainly wouldn't have happened if we had stayed in D.C. They would have given the case to another special agent, or maybe
This
even
reminds
to
me
the
of
state,
what?
and then we never would have found it. In the end, we would have been shut up in that vast, desolate evidence vault along with all the other cases, marked by nothing but a first-degree murder tag, buried in a soggy grave at the bottom of a sea of data. That would have been its fate. A voodoo shop.
Amateur skier.
It's a voodoo shop.
Just looks like a dumb souvenir shop to me.
Of course it does, Patty. You're much too young to understand the true value of such a place.
He's so condescending. That's enough. This is the very last part that was in the demo type thing that they released. I watched it on YouTube. Wait, that's that thing that's in our house. Or in the hotel.
This is all kid stuff. It's just a bunch of charms.
Why did it stop? It says
I'm allowed to watch TV and go on the internet, but I ain't allowed in here? My daddy makes no sense sometimes. You agree, right, Agent York? This is all just kid stuff.
Look at this, Zach. All the mysticism of the Deep South gathered up into one quaint little shop. This is 100 times more exciting than the FBI evidence. It's a vast treasure chest. So much to study, so much to learn.
Just a bunch of masks.
Thou art a seeker, and I see the object of thy desire.
Why he sound familiar? Opie, is he familiar to you?
Doth
stuff,
this
you know,
be
though.
what thou seekest?
His face.
I could sell it to thee now. And only now. Surely fortune shall not bless thee with another chance. Purchase this, and know that thy wishes shall be granted.
My controller. My controller.
That's crazy. Even I can tell you're getting cheated, Agent York.
I disagree, Patty. This person can be trusted. I've been studying people for quite a while, so I can tell. That figurine is connected to our future.
My price is true.
Ruby is.
What
she's
say
gorgeous. She's a sneaky bastard, though. That's where the that's where the demo thing ended, like, as this part played. After I buy it. Yes, I'm gonna buy it.
I'll buy it.
After this.
Thou art a man of refined taste.
At all.
I am loath to part with it, but 'twould be a fool's errand to keep it from such a keen-eyed soul.
What's wrong with you? No normal person would ever buy a piece of junk like that. Not even at a garage sale.
Marvelous, isn't it, Zach? What a treasure. I can't wait to use it.
Use it? Where? How?
Isn't it obvious, Patty? I'm going to put it in front of Mrs. Carpenter's house.
What?
In front of her house?
Yes. I'm sure this figurine will stop her right in her tracks. And that'll give us a chance to finally topple the 10 maidens.
Are you serious?
Of course I am. And so is Zach. Aren't you?
No.
I'm seriously wondering if I should quit helping you out with this.
Buy the alligator from the mirror. That sounds weird. So stop doing that. But yeah, well, she just went tall for some reason. And that's not-
Whoa.
That was close.
Who's that?
Well, look at you, all standing there like you're expecting me to apologize. Huh, it's your fault
She's
for not
certainly gonna
paying
be the first one
attention.
to die. I can tell.
What?
Got a
Someone
moment?
From the first one.
Can't say I do. I'm in a hurry here.
I won't take up too much of your time. I'd just like to ask you a few questions.
I said I'm in a hurry, Peckerwood. Now get out of my way.
Patty, who was that?
Kalina Clarkson. PJ Clarkson's second daughter, and Lisa's mother.
Yeah, red dress. She's
Zach. We've found ourselves a Clarkson.
No, she's not here. My dolly. She's not here. My dolly isn't here.
One of the key persons in this case just came out of the woodwork to meet us. Now things are really getting interesting. Isn't that right, Zach?
But it's about damn time. My dolly's missing. My sweet little dolly. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why I'm not a voice actress. My sweet, sweet dolly. I'm sorry, I'll never do that again. I've got a voice for quiet movies and a face for the radio. This is why I have to compromise and do YouTube. Maybe the red dress is just a callback to the first one. I don't know, maybe.
you think of him? Yes, I'm talking about him. Boondock. Is the skeletal gentleman friend or foe? Or does he merely exist outside the realms of either? Still too early to tell. But it's clear that he'll be the key to uncovering this case's mysteries. Let's hope. Did you notice it yet? The streets in New Orleans were a mess. All busted up and undergoing maintenance. The city was built on a swamp, so the ground is soft. All it takes is some heavy rain to cave it all in. There are also a lot of places where large tree roots are pushing up parts of the asphalt and the sidewalk. Those bumps were dangerous even when we still had our car, remember? But this town is different. The streets are all paved so cleanly that we can skate along them without a care in the world. And there's hardly any trash or graffiti.
Fuck. It's annoying how fucking fast it cuts off. I was literally trying to fucking stop. Apparently that's not a thing. Once you begin riding, you cannot stop.
Mr. York, that was mighty quick. The special agent does it again. You sure don't waste any time. I bet my CLG's got a lot to learn from you. By the way, Mr. York, looks to me like you aren't packing anything.
What?
I was on vacation in New Orleans before I happened to stop by here.
Well, shoot, that won't do. Here, I got something I think you'll like.
Finally.
I call him Mr. Alligator. Badass, ain't he? It's a tranquilizer gun for the gators. And here's a radio.
I was just thinking, when do we first get the gun? Oh shit.
With this, you won't have to worry about any expensive roaming fees.
Radio.
Might take you a while to get used to him, but you'll get it.
Shoot the boxes.
Try letting them rip a few times. Ain't no need to hold back out here.
I don't want to shoot a dog. Mr. Alligator is a gun that fires non-lethal rubber bullets. You can purchase more rubber bullets at shops, so keep an eye on your stock. Wait, so it's not infinite like the first one? Get on my level.
Now this is an
Hashtag
intriguing
zero
weapon.
deaths. Hashtag the best.
For a tranquilizer gun, it really packs a punch.
Hashtag.
But I'm afraid I'll decline. After all, this town is peaceful, isn't it?
Well, sure it's peaceful. At least the humans are. But the animals, are a different story. Remember what I named it? There are some real mean-ass gators out there in the swamps. And every now and then, they wander into town. One of them even went and ate a kid once. It happened a long time ago, but still. One chomp's all it takes. They swallow down every last bit of you. Poor kid's parents didn't even know what to put in his coffin. The worst part is, that taught the gators just how tasty we humans are. So now, those suckers just attack on sight. Man-eating crocodiles will feast tonight. In Blood Swamp!
You know he's fibbing, right? Gators don't attack folks.
He's like an evergreen child.
I never heard about no kid getting swallowed by a gator.
Actually, Patricia, you're wrong.
I'm what?
Alligators do attack people. and it could happen in any town.
Huh?
Alligator, 1980. Directed by Louis Teague. It takes place in the Midwest, I believe. A teenage girl's pet alligator gets flushed down the toilet. Then, in the sewer, it feeds on the corpses of dogs that were used as test subjects for an experimental growth formula. After growing over 30 feet, it finally starts to go after humans. It's an extremely edifying movie. Back when I first saw it, I had a pet hamster.
Do not say that it went down the toilet. Do not. Do not.
Hey, Agent York. What's your first order of business? You're in charge now, remember?
Well said, Patricia. I nearly
Thank you,
lost sight of my
Patricia.
true goal. Melvin, I couldn't help but notice the name on the side of that truck. This facility is connected to the victim, isn't it?
Oh, right. Yeah,
The fuck?
I reckon I better start from there. I'm gonna tell it to you straight right from the beginning, Mr. York. As you guessed, this warehouse is run by the Clarksons. The victim's father, Danny Clarkson, is the one who manages the whole place. Okay, but why did he choose to store her body in his own warehouse, right? Well, that's 'cause there ain't no other place to store it. Our town has a clinic inside a church, but no more. Whenever someone kicks the bucket, we just bury him in the graveyard right outside of town. But not this time. We got a murder on our hands this time. We need to give Lisa's body an autopsy and keep it stored, right? So we had no choice but to rent out a corner of this warehouse.
I see. So that's what led to the ingenious choice to store the victim's body in a facility that her family owns.
Anywho, this is where the real story begins. Truth is, a few days before you got here, Lisa's body went missing.
Missing.
Yeah. All of a sudden, poof.
Did you leave the warehouse unlocked?
I most certainly did not. I locked the whole place up and made sure no one could get inside. No one stole the original key, and I couldn't find any fingerprints at the scene.
So, in other words, this is a locked room mystery.
The body of a beautiful young girl walks at mid... Hey! all right, CLG. Reckon I should have told you about this earlier when you first said you wanted to come here. It just didn't seem like the time or place as I remember. Anywho, how about we call it a day and head back to my office? You can go through all the files there.
No, thank you. This is what I came to investigate.
I was not gonna say why the fuck.
But Lisa's body isn't here anymore. You sure?
That doesn't bother me one bit, Melvin. You see, I met a skeletal gentleman on my way here, and he was kind enough to give me an oracle.
Is there any movie York doesn't know? Probably not.
You holding up okay, CLG?
Oh, Larry?
Sure you don't want to wait outside?
Ugh, I'll be fine, Daddy.
Wow.
Just make sure you don't take your eyes off of him. He's so selfish and inconsiderate. I'm still not convinced he's actually a real FBI agent. Look, he's talking to himself again.
Zach, this is the ambiguous zero, the deep freeze. Let's hurry up and find that flying serpent, shall we?
Okay, so store. Yeah, York's right there. They're just fucking bitching about me.
Hey, Mr. York. You sure you want to keep investigating this place even though we know the body ain't here?
Of course, Melvin. The skeletal gentleman gave me an oracle, remember?
It's Skella what?
Ugh, he's just joking, Daddy. You can't take him seriously.
Huh? Well, was that really a joke, Mr. York? Well, I'll be. I see you've been hiding some real charm into that whole FBI routine.
Sorry, Melvin, but I'm dead serious.
I don't like that everyone makes fun of him in this.
Oh, good God almighty. This place always
Music.
gives me goosebumps, no matter how many times I come here.
Yes, it's quite the funhouse. Truly a dazzling place. Meet entertainment. That's the only way to describe it. Woven together by life, frozen in time, a visceral, musical.
Symphony. We eat all this in order to survive.
Yes, truly a symphony. Life and death resonating together.
Yeah, it's really cool.
The cool? Whoa now, CLG. Since when were you interested in this kind of stuff?
What are you so surprised for, Daddy? I'm more mature than you are. I've seen way more realistic corpses on CSI, you know.
Oh, man.
At first, Zach, I was shocked by the notion of storing a victim's body alongside food. But as I gaze upon this hanging garden, I realize it's just another scene of violent, depraved murder. Yes. All we need to do is change our point of view, and things will expose themselves in utterly new ways.
Okay, so the camera. Wow, my stamina is shit. But yeah, what I'm noticing, there's not a lot of gameplay. And when there is, it's not. Okay, so there's a lot of... beef like
Melvin, I'd like to take this opportunity to ask you a personal question. In the hotel parking lot, when I first met you, the picture you had on your dashboard happened to catch my eye. Was that your wife?
Oh, her? Yeah, that's my lady, all right. Candy. Her name's Candy.
That's a stripper name.
The prettiest girl in town, which makes me the happiest boy.
He's like a child.
A shooting star landed in a rural town, right on top of a man who now has a meteor-struck heart.
You always keep her photo with you?
You bet I do. The truth is, Candy's a little sick right now. She can't even leave the house no more. So I always keep her photograph with me. Kinda feels like we're always together, you know?
I see. You care for your wife a great deal. But this means that
Yeah, that's right.
I bet she's dead at home in like a fucking freezer.
My mama had me before she married Daddy. But it don't matter. He's still my real daddy to me.
Oh, thank you, CLG. And you're my pride and joy.
well, Zach, isn't this a heartwarming scene? But there's one thing I just can't get out of my mind. Don't you think that photograph looked a bit too old? Perhaps Candy is already... No, let's not think about that. It might be a private matter, just like you, Zach.
Okay, so we're looking for shinies. The fuck? Zone crouch. Wait, is that literally just to show me how to fucking crouch? The gameplay in this honestly leaves something to be desired. Which is a shame. Admittedly, I'm kind of disappointed so far, in case you can't tell, hence the silence. But I fucking love the first one, it's a shame. It's just boring so far. It feels like it's not finished. Like, I know the first one felt like that, but I don't know. It's disappointing. maybe I'm a little bit biased as well because I feel like shit. But like now, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And it doesn't really give me much, you know. Oh yeah, the frame rate is garbage. But that I can kind of let go. It's just... I've been playing this for like 3 to 4 hours, and this is the most in gameplay that we've played. And
Here we
all it
are,
is
Zach.
Walking around finding
The
shiny
morgue.
shit. And the car was one of my favourite things from the first one, and I just ditched that for a fucking skateboard that runs like shit. Yeah, I'm still intrigued about the story, don't get me wrong, and I still love York. But like how the characters interact around him, pretending that he's not there, and kind of, it's like belittling everything that we liked about the first game. I don't know. It's a shame. Hopefully it gets better. I'm hoping.
They stored the victim's body in a cold storage warehouse operated by her family. I'd love to shake the hand of whoever came up with that one.
Ruby, come on, baby.
Hey, Agent York.
Nicole, can you call Ruby, please? Nicole? Okay, you were saying it correctly. Ruby. Nicole, use your Australian voice. But yeah, it is a shame. Don't get me wrong, the first one was slow to start, but... I don't know.
Did you just come here to laugh at rural officers who are doing the best they can? We don't have any special facilities like you people. What else did you expect us to do, huh? Don't compare us with city folk. This is Lucare. Or maybe you're just disappointed that you didn't get to see the bloated, decomposing corpse of a young girl.
Sorry, you're right. I went a bit too far just now. But don't misunderstand. I honestly think it's a fantastic idea. I'd never try and bully your daddy.
Better not.
Thank you for understanding.
There was a shiny behind her. Like, I don't know how many of the clues that I found out of how many. Does it tell me? No.
Boxes that got left behind. I can't tell what's inside. What do you think, Zach? I'm gonna go with okra. I'm sure it must be okra. That's a staple of the South.
What the fuck is okra?
Zach, can you see that? Look closely. That's right. There are 4 imprints in the frost on the top of this. It's hard to believe, but I think these are fingerprints. Yes, Zach, that would lead one to believe that the body napper is a giant who's over 10 feet tall. An icicle. Never thought I'd see one of these down in the South. Zach, these are human footprints, and they're extremely large. Yes, Zach, I agree. These footprints must belong to someone who's used to walking around in cold temperatures. This frost is shaped like something we're very used to seeing. That's right, a body bag. Lisa's body must have been left here, but there are no signs that the bag was dragged away. So our criminal must possess monstrous strength.
Inspection complete. I still had stuff to inspect. Didn't I?
Seems like our flying serpent isn't here. Is this everything,
Okra is
Melvin?
green beans.
There aren't any other rooms in this warehouse? No special rooms.
Well, there is the luxury foods warehouse.
Luxury foods? Why didn't you say so earlier?
Just thought you wanted to see where the body... I just thought you were only interested in warehouse number 2. Besides, it's underground, so it's even colder than this. You sure you really want to go down there? You could darn well freeze to death.
He's being weird, like he's trying to hide something.
All life will come to an end in the icebound zone.
You feel me?
Let's head there at once. I'm sure that must be where we're meant to go.
But what about searching for Lisa's body?
All we need to do is find a 10-foot tall man with monstrous strength. That giant knows where she is.
10 foot tall?
But finding the flying serpent is more important right now. Now please, guide me to the luxury foods warehouse at once. These luxury foods are most likely being used in local Cajun cuisine. I'm so excited to see what we'll find. Aren't you, Zach?
Ruby, how the fuck are you about to be underneath the chair? The car? Ruby! Come on. Also on this note anyway, I'm gonna get to the next save and I'll call it for now and then I'll probably be back later. So we'll get to the next save. Oh, she's alright, she's just laying by my feet.
That elevator needs a key, Mr. York.
Do you have one?
Actually, no. I didn't think you'd ever want to go down there. So I didn't bother to go and get one.
Well then, would you go and get one now?
Yeah. COG, I know. I'll tell it to him straight. Thing is, Mr. York, you know the Clarksons, the folks who own this place. Well, they don't too much like the police. And they sure as hell don't like them when they're my color. It was, real hard for me to get permission to open up this place for you to search through. So they ain't gonna be too happy if I go back to them now, asking for another key.
So that hurts?
What should we do then?
Let's just find a worker here who can lower the elevator for us instead. All they need to do is take a break from their work for a couple minutes.
Yeah, they're racist. In my books, that means that that's right.
And what am I supposed to do? Just stand here and pretend like nothing's happening?
Yeah, you FBI folks are good at that, right? That's always what I see you doing on TV.
The elevator won't move without a key, Mr. York. Think you two can go and figure something out? I'll search around here in the meantime. I believe in you. I know they didn't make you a special agent for nothing.
what system was the first game on? PS3 and Xbox 360.
It's better check back here as well, just to be on the safe side.
Seen one review about it, and it was from IGN, so I'm not sure how it's to go by, but they were saying how bad it is, pretty much. It got like 5 out of 10. Well, let's put it this way, I sincerely hope that this gets better, because if not, they probably shouldn't have bothered making a sequel. Which is a shame. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure it does. But
Zach, the human ability to adapt is a frightening thing. Some humans have the power to sleep anywhere as long as they set their minds to it.
miss a rainy atmosphere.
Now we should be able to operate the elevator. No need to worry. This facility no longer has a body to steal. What else do they have to lose? A few cans of crawfish? I feel bad for him, but it's for the sake of the investigation.
Ruby?
I'll write him a letter of apology later.
Oh. Ruby? Come here. That's why it was there.
Mr. York, did you find a key? Ha! Now that's my special agent. There, wanna head straight down?
You bet. Let's sally forth, Melvin.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it gets better. The first one did, so...
Zach, look at that thermometer.
Wait. What the fuck is that?
0 degrees Fahrenheit, or minus 17.7 degrees Celsius.
Damn.
This is the ambiguous 0.
Hey, Avery! Can you hear me? Open the damn door! It ain't no use, Mr. York. Once Avery starts working on something, that's all he sees. He just tunes out everything else. We'll have to wait until he finishes and comes out to us, I reckon. Or we could come back tomorrow.
I disagree, Melvin. Time may be on our side, but that doesn't mean we should waste it. You gave me Mr. Alligator precisely for moments like these, didn't you?
Wait, Mr. York! Those tranquilizers may be
The
non-lethal,
audio cuts off
but it's
on
still
the
dangerous to
camera.
use them on humans.
Of course, Melvin. I never said I was going to shoot him.
You're gonna shoot some meat to get his attention. I'm right, ain't I?
Most probably.
This is Mr. York, an agent from the FBI.
Hi, Avery. I'm Special Agent Francis York Morgan. Please, call me York.
York, you a smarty pants, hmm?
He's a dick.
He's shyer than he looks. Come on, just settle down, Avery. Tell him what this here place is for.
Lots of expensive food here. Yup. Mighty precious to the Clarksons, so I gotta guard it.
I see. So you're this area's keeper.
Oh, I help with the research too. I do like research.
Research? What are you talking about, Avery? This doesn't look like a lab to me.
Oh, ain't no lab. It's a warehouse. Ain't no lab. Smarty pant scientist does the research. I ain't no smarty pants, you know.
He's a bit slow in the mind, but he ain't a bad guy. Oh. Your story about the giant who carried Lisa out. Don't tell me you think it's him.
To be fair, he is big.
I mean, it's true that he's free to come and go as he pleases in this warehouse, but...
No, as far as I can tell, he's just a bit over 6'5". The one who moved Lisa's body must be at least 10 feet tall. He's clearly too short.
Too short, huh? Well, if you ever happen to find a man who makes him look small, I'd sure like to meet him.
Lisa.
Hey, cut it out!
Lise? Why?
What?
Avery, that's not Lise.
Not Lise?
This is Melvin's daughter, and my precious assistant. Unfortunately, Elise is no longer with us.
Lise! Lise!
Okay, I'm curious now.
My fault! My fault!
I guess he's sort of like Lise, you know?
Elise was 16.
Poor fella's got himself a childlike mind. You know how normal kids tease other kids in order to get attention? Well, with this big lug, sometimes folks who don't know him too well see something and end up calling the police. But I know that deep down, he's got a good heart.
So he's
Hey,
weird.
Mr. York, I'll keep him busy, but I'd appreciate it if you'd hurry this particular inspection along. Just holler at me if you find anything. I reckon that'll make it easier for you to go do your thing, yeah?
Melvin, I think you're finally starting to catch on.
I am intrigued.
Hung alligators. I suppose in a way they sort of look like flying serpents. But that's pushing it. Remember, we're in a dark basement here. They'll never reach the sky.
That's bleak.
Frozen oysters. Personally, I'd rather have a cocktail filled with fresh ones. We hunt for more materials than we can eat, and freeze them over long periods of time. The human race gives terror a whole new meaning. Onions, bell peppers, and celery. The absolute basics for any Cajun dish. This product combines them all into some sort of paste. People actually buy this garbage? Even the name sounds idiotic.
Holy Trinity paste. Trinity of bitches.
Zach, I just made an eternal promise with myself. If I ever happen to come across any food prepared with this paste, I vow to never call it Cajun food. There are torn off claws and legs scattered all over the ground. I doubt they'll fly anytime soon. I can't tell which ones are from crawfish and which parts are from shrimp. How about you, Zach? And Dewey. Now here's some real Cajun cuisine. The way these sausages are linked up, they almost look like a serpent, but it's hard to imagine them flying. Let's move on, Zach.
Yo, you're reaching.
Avery, this box looks special.
Clarkson food, for their home.
Melvin, is this the Clarksons' family crest?
Oh, the dragonfly? Yeah, that's the Clarksons' mark, all right. Ain't no big deal, though. You can find those all over town.
Is that so?
Well, yeah. They pretty much run all of this town's major industries. Yeah, but I do believe they own just about everything there is to own. So their word is law. They got the whole darn town tattooed with their dragonflies. Can't even walk a few steps without seeing one.
Zach, this dragonfly is our flying serpent.
Yeah.
The flying serpent owns this town. They're related to Lise Clarkson, our victim. And Hungan's oracle pointed us toward their family crest. Clarksons must be deeply intertwined with this case. Melvin, Patricia, I think I've had enough of this frozen world. Let's head back out to that merciless sun. Well, what are you waiting for? I can't bear to spend another second down here.
I don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna stop in a sec. It allows me. I wanna fucking save so that I don't have to do it again.
Whew. So, what do we do now, Mr. York?
Zach and I will take things from here.
Then what should I do?
Tend to your sick wife? I don't know. You're free to do as you please. I'll stop by the sheriff's office when I need your help again.
I suppose that's what I'll do then. It'll sure make Candy happy. But I am the sheriff of this town, so I do intend to get some work done. I know. How about I search for Lisa's body while you're busy?
Not a bad idea. Just be careful that you don't get attacked by a barefooted giant.
Hey, don't scare me like that. Why do you keep talking about that giant anyway? You really think some giant was responsible for all this?
Melvin, don't be silly. Of course I do. Just when I thought you were starting to catch on. Disappointing, to say the least.
But how can you be so sure? I want to see some proof.
Proof number one. The footprints that led up to where Lisa's body originally was were made with bare feet. None of the prints looked similar to those of common insulated boots, and the arches of the feet were visible. The person who carried out Lisa's body must have had very large feet. I'd say they were at least 16 inches. Proof number two. I found fingerprints on the cord of one of the hanging lights in the warehouse. The fingerprints weren't aimed up from below. They were coming directly from the side. Clearly, the giant moved the light because it was in his way. He pinched the cord with his fingers. Proof number three. There was nothing else found in the vicinity where Lisa's body was stored. This means the giant carried her out without dragging her across the floor. But there's only one set of footprints. The only conclusion I can draw from this evidence is that a barefooted giant standing over 10 feet tall carried Lisa's body out. That concludes the entirety of my proof. Any objections, Melvin?
But there ain't no way a human could ever be that tall.
Have you seen every human alive with your own eyes? Well then, you need to forget all your preconceived notions when embarking on an investigation. Whether you come face to face with a 10-foot giant or a skeletal gentleman, you always need to accept everything that comes to you with a clear mind. Do that, and eventually the truth will reveal itself to you. You're a smart kid, I'm sure you understand.
Well, I'll be damned. I'm sorry I ever doubted you, Mr. FBI Special Agent, sir. A sharp eye and flawless observational skills. Uncovering the truth with a heady intuition. I won't ever question you again. Heck, I'll do whatever you say.
That's it, Melvin. I'm glad you finally caught on. Okay, time to go, Patty. You know this town well, so I'd like you to accompany me from now on.
Patty?
Zack, we found the flying serpent. Now we simply need to locate the 10 maidens. It's time to head on to Alexis's diner and lane.
Where's the phone? There is no way to pause other than going in the inventory. I'm gonna call it here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, possibly more than I did, because right now I'm not that into it. Hopefully, yeah, you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all probably tomorrow, if not the next day, but probably tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts. Maybe they're slightly better than mine, but yeah. I'll see you all next